What you can see there is a large fallen ash tree. Used to be home for some lovely woodpeckers, but not anymore, unfortunately. Hi, I'm Marlow from Wild Food UK, out foraging again. It's the 8th of April today, and I'm in Herefordshire. And first of all, about the ash trees, there's a few ways to ID them. Nice easy way when there's no leaves on them is to have a look at the new growth. You can see that greyish bark on this twig with black leaf buds coming out of it. And then those black leaf buds will open up with these kind of almost golden greeny brown leaves coming out at the start. So if it's a greyish twig with black buds, then it's most likely an ash tree. Or you can look on the ground around it at any dead fallen bits of wood, because you might well find this fungus, which is, as far as I know, pretty much exclusive to ash. That is a King Alfred's cake. It's not what killed the tree. This is a saprotrophic, entirely saprotrophic fungus. It's not parasitic in any way. The tree might have been killed by another fungus, or ash dieback, or chalara, or Hymenacyphus fraxineus, I think is its scientific name. Might have killed the tree. This didn't. This is going to recycle the tree back into compost for all the plants to grow out of around. So very useful fungus. And because of ash dieback, we're probably going to see a lot more of these over the next 10 or 20 years or more. Now, it's called the King Alfred's cake. I don't know if you know the story, but King Alfred burnt the cakes. He's a 9th century Saxon king, and he was on the run, and farmer and his wife put him up. And apparently she asked him to look after the cakes in the oven, but he, I think, fell asleep or got distracted. So I assume the cakes ended up looking like this. It's also called the cramp ball or coal fungus, which is quite relevant to its uses. I'll go through those in a minute. But its scientific name is Daldinia concentrica. You can see those concentric circles, which were thought to be growth rings, but considering the fungus grows in a year, I'm not sure about that. They're certainly not annual growth rings anyway. The Daldinia part of the name is in honor of an 18th century clergyman and botanist called Agostino Daldini, and this genus of fungus was named in his honor. So this is a fungus that's really interesting. This one's fresh off the tree, so you can kind of see it's a bit damp. It means it's no good for the purposes of the rest of this video. And if I was to take this home and put it on the side, or I've made the mistake of leaving one of these on the dashboard of my car before, what would happen is you'd come back to a big spread of black dust. That's the spores of the fungus. It's an ascomycetes. That means it pumps the spores out from this upper surface of the fungus, and yeah, it can make quite a mess. So this fresh one would do that. But on the tree here, we've got one that is a bit drier. I think this was last year's fungus, so it's going to allow me to show you something in just a second. But before I do, I'll tell you a little bit more about the history of this fungus with humans, because as far as I know, the first recorded case of humans using fungus in Europe was one of these. Now, I am absolutely certain that humans have used fungus for many other purposes for a lot longer than this, but the first sort of fossil records or excavations that show it, if you like, were of this fungus when they excavated a settlement in Spain that was dated to be 7,000 years old, and they found lots of this fungus around the fire pits. And we know that our ancestors used to use this fungus for lighting fires, which I'm going to have a go at in a minute, and also for transporting fire as well. So I'll show you about the transporting fire right now. I should be able to do it with this dry one. I've got my modern day lighter here, and I'll just get a bit of it smouldering. You can see very simply. All right, blow it, adding oxygen, it goes very red. But that will stay hot and smoulder extremely slowly for quite a long time. So if you can imagine our ancestors going off on their hunting parties, they could get one of these going from a fire at their settlement and then take a few more with them. And if they wanted to make fire somewhere else, all they'd have to do is blow the fungus, and that would allow them to make fire, which, as I said, I'm going to have a go at a little bit later in this video. They're an interesting fungus. Like I said, not a tree killer, a fundamental nature or natural recycler, if you like, and one that I am absolutely certain that humans would have used for a lot more than 7,000 years. Anyway, I got this one going using a very modern implement. Now let's go and see if I can do it in a little bit more of a tricky way. So let's put the firelighting capabilities of our King Alfred's cake to the test. I've got a lovely old dry one here, at least a year old. And down here, I've got some nice tinder in which I've put some birch bark, which is highly flammable. I have got a modern day flint and steel here. Obviously 7,000 years ago in Spain, they wouldn't have had these, but they may well have had some ironstone and some flint. So they would have got reasonably similar sparks to the ones I'm about to show you. Now, the sparks you get from flint and steel aren't particularly strong. So I'm just going to do a tiny bit of preparation on this old King Alfred's cake here. I'm going to expose some of the dry centre and just dust it up ever so slightly. And here we go. So let's see how easy it was to start fire with one of these. I have it burning. You get a lovely smell like incense from these. Right, so I'm going to place that now in amongst my tinder. Start blowing it. Getting there. I'm certainly getting a lot of heat. There we go. I'd say that was quite successful. Now to get something they certainly wouldn't have had 7,000 years ago. Eric, where are the marshmallows? So there you go. our very interesting King Alfred's cake, a fungus that I'm sure humans have used for a lot longer than the 7,000 years I mentioned earlier. That's it for today. So if you like the video, give it a like, subscribe if you want to. But if you want to learn more about this kind of thing, book a foraging course with wildfooduk.com.